literally popped up, jumped straight out the room into the next room. My friend Andrew was sleeping. I woke his ass up. I said, Andrew, we got to go right now. He goes, what? I go, I can't tell. I literally couldn't articulate what I had seen. I was so freaked out. Everything was just clenching. I said, Andrew, we must leave. I'll tell you when we leave. I don't know. We just got to get out of here. I'll tell you in the car. We find ourselves at a diner downtown Gettysburg near the train tracks. And we order our food, and the food comes, and I'm finally able to say what it is that I had seen. His response was great because he didn't even question it. He looked at me and he goes, huh, makes sense. Felt weird in that house last night. And yeah, I believe you. So after we eat, we go back to the house because it's Sunday. We have to pick up our friends and we got to drive the 4 hours back to college. We're all 18, but the guy we were visiting, his name was also Andrew. He was 21. So we had the bright idea of taking him to the beer store and giving him a couple bucks to buy us a bunch of cases of beer so that we could go back to college as heroes. Mind you, at this point, I never told Andrew what it is I had seen. So on the car ride to the beer store, I just kind of tested the waters. But I go, hey, Andrew, has there ever been anything strange or paranormal or weird that has occurred in the house in your experience? And he goes, oh, yeah, of course. He goes, it's kind of a known fact. Everyone that lives in this house, there are about 20 bedrooms in this house. He goes, everyone that lives in this house has heard footsteps or heard voices. He goes, I've heard those things. He goes, but I've never seen anything. That's when I tell him the story. As you can imagine, he had no reaction. He was just like, oh yeah, sounds about right. He said that the original owner of the home had a mistress that was either killed or committed suicide. I can't remember that detail. He said that is the woman who haunts the home. And I said, Andrew, I saw her this morning. I am convinced. Again, he was like, oh, cool. Like, so deadpan. Like, it's such a common thing there that it doesn't even faze them. So we go back to the house one more time to collect our belongings, and my friend Andrew at the time was an amateur photographer, had a DSLR camera, and we had some ideas. I said, let's go into the room where I saw these ghosts earlier today, and let's do some ghost hunting. Let's just document every corner of the room and see if we could find something. I actually built up the courage, and I stood where I saw the young adult female ghost earlier that morning. I stood exactly where she stood in the same position, and I had Andrew photograph me in that position. I say we took about 20 to 30 photos, and then we jetted out of there. We drove the 4 hours, and then we go back into our dorm, take the memory card out of his camera, upload it onto his laptop, and this is where it gets crazy. Most of the photos were unremarkable, nothing really of note, but then there's this one photo, the photo where I am standing, where the young lady stood earlier that day, is where we see some shit. Disclaimer, I am not an expert in paranormal activity and ghost hunting or anything. I just